Listen, gentlemen, I need you to stop what you're doing right now and pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. Because what you're experiencing, those sleepless nights, the constant trips to the bathroom, the embarrassment, the loss of confidence, it doesn't have to be your reality anymore. My name is Dr. James Whitaker, and for over 25 years, I've been helping men over 60 reclaim their lives from an enlarged prostate. I've seen thousands of patients walk through my doors, proud grandfathers, successful businessmen, war veterans, all reduced to planning their days around the nearest restroom. But here's what the medical establishment doesn't want you to know. There's one powerful fruit, something you can find at any grocery store for less than $2, that has been shown to shrink prostate tissue, reduce inflammation, and restore normal urinary function in men over 60. And the pharmaceutical companies? They're hoping you never find out about it. Before we dive deep into this life-changing information, I want you to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Why? Because YouTube's algorithm tries to hide content like this. Natural solutions that actually work. By subscribing, you're ensuring you never miss the truth about men's health that could save your life. Now, if you're ready to learn about this powerful fruit that could change everything, type "ready" in the comments below. If you're skeptical but curious, type "show me." I read every single comment, and your engagement helps other men find this critical information. Let me start by telling you about Robert. He's 73 years old, a retired school principal from Michigan. When Robert first came to my clinic 18 months ago, he was a broken man. He told me, "Doc, I wake up 6 times every night. I can't enjoy a movie with my wife without getting up 3 times. I'm afraid to go anywhere that doesn't have a bathroom nearby." Robert had what millions of men over 60 experience: benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. His prostate had enlarged to nearly twice its normal size, pressing against his bladder like a vice grip, making normal life nearly impossible. But Robert's story doesn't end there, because 6 months after I shared with him what I'm about to share with you today, he walked back into my office with tears in his eyes. Not tears of frustration, tears of joy. "Dr. Whitaker," he said, "I slept through the night for the first time in 5 years. My wife and I took a road trip last weekend, something I couldn't imagine doing before." What changed Robert's life wasn't an expensive prescription drug with dangerous side effects. It wasn't invasive surgery with months of recovery. It was one simple fruit that he started eating every single day. Gentlemen, your prostate doesn't have to control your life. You don't have to accept frequent urination, weak stream, and sleepless nights as inevitable parts of aging. The solution exists, it's natural, and it's been hiding in plain sight. But first, let me explain exactly what's happening inside your body and why traditional medicine has failed so many of you. Your prostate is a walnut-sized gland that sits just below your bladder, wrapped around your urethra, the tube that carries urine out of your body. In healthy young men, this gland causes no problems. But as we age, particularly after 50, the prostate begins to enlarge. Here's what your doctor probably hasn't explained clearly. This enlargement isn't random. It's driven by a hormone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. As testosterone levels naturally decline with age, your body compensates by producing more DHT. But here's the cruel irony. DHT actually makes your prostate grow larger and more inflamed. Think of it like this. Imagine someone slowly tightening a clamp around a garden hose. That's what an enlarged prostate does to your urethra. The flow becomes weaker, you feel like you can't empty your bladder completely, and your body responds by making you feel like you need to urinate constantly. But the problems don't stop there. The inflammation from an enlarged prostate creates a cascade of issues that affect every aspect of your life. Poor sleep leads to daytime fatigue. Constant worry about finding bathrooms creates anxiety. The embarrassment affects your relationships. Many of my patients tell me they stop traveling, stop going out with friends, and some even avoid intimacy with their partners. And what does traditional medicine offer? Usually it's one of 2 paths, drugs or surgery. The drugs, alpha blockers like Flomax or 5-alpha reductase inhibitors like finasteride, come with a laundry list of side effects: dizziness, weakness, reduced libido, and in some cases, complete sexual dysfunction. I've had patients tell me, Doc, the cure is worse than the disease. Surgery, while sometimes necessary in severe cases, involves significant risks, especially for men over 70. Recovery can take months, and complications like incontinence and sexual problems are real possibilities. But what if I told you there's a third option? What if nature has provided a solution that's been used for centuries, backed by modern science and available at your local grocery store? Let me tell you about the fruit that's been changing lives in my practice for over a decade. The fruit I'm talking about is the pomegranate. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is just another health fad, let me share the science that will blow your mind. Pomegranates contain a unique compound called punicalagin, a powerful antioxidant that specifically targets prostate inflammation. But here's what makes pomegranates special. They contain the highest concentration of these prostate-healing compounds of any fruit on Earth. Recent studies from UCLA and the University of Wisconsin have shown that men who consume pomegranate extract daily experience a significant reduction in PSA doubling time, a key marker of prostate health. But the benefits go far beyond just numbers on a lab report. Dr. Alan Pantuck at UCLA followed 46 men with rising PSA levels for 2 years. The men who consumed pomegranate juice daily saw their PSA doubling time increase from 15 months to 54 months. That's a 260% improvement in a key marker of prostate health. But let me tell you what this means in real terms through the story of another patient of mine. Frank is 69 years old, a retired electrician from Ohio. When Frank first came to see me, his life had become a prison of bathroom breaks. He was getting up 8 to 10 times per night, had a weak urinary stream, and constantly felt like his bladder wasn't empty. His PSA levels were climbing steadily, from 4.2 to 6.8 over 18 months. His previous doctor was pushing for a biopsy and discussing treatment options that frankly terrified Frank. I suggested Frank try something different. Instead of jumping straight to invasive procedures, we started him on a protocol centered around one large pomegranate daily, consumed in a very specific way. Within 4 weeks, Frank noticed he was getting up only 4 to 5 times per night instead of 8 to 10. By 8 weeks, he was down to 2 to 3 times. After 6 months, his PSA had stabilized at 5.1, and most importantly, his quality of life had dramatically improved. But Frank's story gets even better. At his 1-year follow-up, not only had his prostate symptoms continued to improve, but his energy levels had increased, his blood pressure had normalized, and he told me with a big smile, "Doc, my wife says I'm like a new man." So what makes pomegranates so powerful for prostate health? First, pomegranates are packed with polyphenols, natural compounds that reduce inflammation throughout the body, but especially in prostate tissue. The specific polyphenols in pomegranates, including punicalagin and ellagic acid, have been shown to inhibit the production of inflammatory markers that cause prostate enlargement. Second, pomegranates help regulate DHT levels, that hormone I mentioned earlier that drives prostate growth. The compounds in pomegranates naturally inhibit 5-alpha reductase, the enzyme that converts testosterone to DHT. Less DHT means less prostate inflammation and growth. Third, pomegranates improve blood flow to the pelvic region. Better circulation means better oxygen and nutrient delivery to prostate tissue, which supports healing and reduces inflammation. But here's the key, and this is where most men get it wrong. Not all pomegranates are created equal, and how you consume them matters enormously. The pomegranates you need are the deep red, fully ripe ones. The pale pink ones you sometimes see in stores have much lower concentrations of the healing compounds. And here's the critical part. You need to eat the whole fruit, including the white pith that most people throw away. That's where many of the most powerful compounds are concentrated. I recommend my patients eat 1 large pomegranate daily, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. This ensures maximum absorption of the healing compounds. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Dr. Whitaker, eating a whole pomegranate every day sounds complicated and messy. And you're right, it can be. That's why I also recommend a specific protocol using 100% pure pomegranate juice, but only if it's the right kind. Most pomegranate juices in the store are loaded with added sugars and contain very little actual pomegranate. What you need is 100% pure pomegranate juice with no added ingredients, 8 ounces daily, preferably on an empty stomach. But pomegranates aren't the only fruit that can transform your prostate health. There are four other fruits that, when combined with pomegranates, create a synergistic effect that's far more powerful than any single remedy. The second fruit on my list might surprise you: blueberries. These small berries pack an enormous punch when it comes to prostate health. Blueberries contain anthocyanins, the compounds that give them their deep blue color, which have been shown to reduce prostate inflammation and support healthy cell division. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that men who consumed 1 cup of blueberries daily experienced a 25% reduction in inflammatory markers associated with BPH. But blueberries do something else remarkable. They help protect the DNA in prostate cells from damage, which is crucial for long-term prostate health. Let me tell you about Harold, a 71-year-old retired postal worker. Harold had been dealing with an enlarged prostate for years, but what worried him most was his family history. Both his father and grandfather had died from prostate cancer. When Harold started my fruit protocol, combining pomegranates with 1 cup of fresh blueberries daily, something remarkable happened. Not only did his urinary symptoms improve significantly over 6 months, but his anxiety about his prostate health began to fade. He told me, "Doc, for the first time in years, I feel like I'm doing something proactive to protect myself." The third fruit that belongs in every man's prostate healing arsenal is the humble apple. But not just any apple. You need organic apples, and you need to eat them with the skin on. Apples contain a flavonoid called quercetin, one of nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. Quercetin specifically targets the inflammatory pathways that cause prostate enlargement. But here's what makes apples special. They also contain pectin, a type of fiber that helps your body eliminate excess hormones, including DHT. A fascinating study from Cornell University found that men who ate 2 apples daily experienced a significant improvement in urinary flow and a reduction in prostate volume over 12 weeks. I had a patient named George, a 68-year-old farmer from Iowa, who was skeptical about fancy fruits like pomegranates, but he was willing to try apples. After all, he had an apple orchard on his property. George started eating 2 apples every morning with his breakfast. 3 months later, George called my office, amazed. His nighttime bathroom trips had decreased from 6 to 7 times to 2 to 3 times. His stream was stronger, and he felt more confident about traveling to visit his grandchildren. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most powerful. The fourth fruit I recommend is one that most men never think of as medicine: the watermelon. Specifically, you need watermelon with seeds, not the seedless variety that's become popular in recent years. Watermelons are rich in lycopene, the same compound that makes tomatoes beneficial for prostate health. But watermelons contain lycopene in a more bioavailable form, meaning your body can absorb and use it more effectively. Lycopene has been extensively studied for its ability to reduce prostate inflammation and support healthy prostate size. But here's the secret that few people know. The seeds and the white rind of watermelon contain citrulline, an amino acid that improves blood flow and reduces inflammation throughout the urinary tract. Marcus, a 74-year-old retiree from Florida, started eating 2 cups of watermelon daily, including the seeds and some of the white rind. Within 2 months, he reported significant improvement in his urinary flow and a reduction in the urgency that had been disrupting his golf games. The fifth and final fruit in my prostate healing protocol is the cherry, specifically tart cherries like Montmorency cherries. These small, bright red fruits contain some of the highest levels of anti-inflammatory compounds found in nature. Tart cherries are rich in anthocyanins and quercetin, but they also contain a unique compound called melatonin. Yes, the same melatonin that helps you sleep. This is crucial because quality sleep is essential for hormone balance and prostate health. Many of my patients find that adding tart cherries to their daily routine not only improves their prostate symptoms, but also helps them sleep more soundly, despite getting up fewer times during the night. James, a 66-year-old veteran, had been struggling with both prostate issues and insomnia for years. After adding 1 cup of tart cherries to his evening routine, he experienced remarkable improvements in both areas. His sleep quality improved dramatically, and his prostate symptoms continued to diminish over time. Now here's where the magic really happens. When you combine all 5 of these fruits into a daily protocol, their effects compound. The anti-inflammatory compounds work together, the antioxidants support each other, and the overall impact on your prostate health is far greater than the sum of the individual parts. But before I share the exact daily protocol that's transformed the lives of hundreds of my patients, I want to address something important. If you're finding value in this information, please take a moment to like this video and share it with other men who might be struggling with prostate issues. Your engagement helps YouTube show this content to more people who desperately need this information. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the American Urologist channel with notifications turned on. I regularly share advanced health strategies that you won't hear from mainstream medicine, and I don't want you to miss any of this life-changing information. Now, let me give you the exact daily protocol that's been so successful in my practice. Morning, 7 a.m. 1 large pomegranate or 8 Oz pure pomegranate juice, no sugar added, 1 cup fresh blueberries, 2 organic apples with skin. Afternoon, 2 p.m. Eat 2 cups watermelon with seeds and some white rind. Evening, 7 p.m. 1 cup tart cherries or 8 Oz pure tart cherry juice, no sugar added. This protocol provides your body with a steady stream of prostate healing compounds throughout the day. The timing is important because it ensures optimal absorption and gives your body the resources it needs to fight inflammation and support healing around the clock. But let me be clear about expectations. This isn't a magic bullet that works overnight. Most of my patients begin to notice improvements within 2 to 3 weeks, with significant changes typically occurring between 6 to 12 weeks. The men who get the best results are those who stick with the protocol consistently for at least 6 months. Let me tell you about one more patient whose story perfectly illustrates the power of this approach. William is 78 years old, a retired engineer from Texas. When William first came to my clinic, he was preparing for prostate surgery. His urologist had told him that his prostate was too enlarged for medication to be effective, and surgery was his only option. William was terrified. At 78, surgery carried significant risks, and the potential side effects, incontinence, sexual dysfunction, seemed like a cure worse than the disease. His wife, Margaret, had found my YouTube channel and convinced William to try a natural approach before going under the knife. I'll be honest, given the severity of William's condition, I wasn't sure the fruit protocol would be enough, but William was determined to try. He followed the protocol religiously for 4 months, tracking his symptoms carefully. The results were remarkable. William's nighttime urination decreased from 9 to 10 times per night to 3-4 times. His urinary flow improved significantly. Most importantly, when he returned to his urologist for a follow-up, the doctor was amazed. William's prostate had actually shrunk by 20%, and surgery was no longer necessary. William called me in tears after that appointment. "Dr. Whitaker," he said, "you saved my life. Not just from surgery, but you gave me my life back." Now, I want to address some common questions and concerns I hear from men about this protocol. "Dr. Whitaker, this seems like a lot of fruit. Won't all that sugar be bad for me?" This is a great question. The fruits I recommend are whole foods with fiber, which slows sugar absorption and prevents blood sugar spikes. Additionally, the anti-inflammatory compounds in these fruits actually improve insulin sensitivity. However, if you have diabetes, work with your doctor to monitor your blood sugar as you implement this protocol. What if I can't find fresh fruits year-round? Frozen fruits work just as well as fresh, and often contain higher levels of nutrients because they're frozen at peak ripeness. For pomegranates and tart cherries, which can be seasonal, 100% pure juices with no added sugars are acceptable alternatives. How long do I need to follow this protocol? I recommend at least 6 months to see full benefits. Many of my patients continue indefinitely because they feel so much better. Think of it as a lifestyle change rather than a temporary treatment. Will this interfere with my medications? These fruits are generally safe and beneficial, but always consult with your healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes, especially if you're taking blood thinners or other medications. The truth is, gentlemen, your prostate problems aren't inevitable. They're not something you just have to live with as you age. Your body has a remarkable ability to heal itself when given the right tools, and these 5 fruits provide those tools in abundance. But here's what I want you to understand. The pharmaceutical industry makes billions of dollars from men with prostate problems. They profit from your suffering, from your sleepless nights, from your embarrassment and frustration. They have no financial incentive to tell you about natural solutions that work. That's why information like this is so important, and why I need your help to spread the word. Every man deserves to know that there are alternatives to expensive drugs and risky surgeries. I've been practicing urology for over 25 years, and I can tell you with complete confidence that the men who take control of their health naturally, who refuse to accept that declining vitality is inevitable, who commit to nourishing their bodies with healing foods, these are the men who thrive in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Your prostate health affects every aspect of your life: your sleep, your confidence, your relationships, your ability to travel and enjoy activities you love. Don't let an enlarged prostate steal another day from you. If you're ready to take action, start with just one fruit tomorrow. Pick the one that appeals to you most. Maybe it's the powerful pomegranate, or the simple apple, or the refreshing watermelon. Start there and add the others gradually over the next week or two. Remember, every journey begins with a single step. Your journey back to prostate health, better sleep, and renewed confidence can start with your very next meal. Before you go, I want to ask a favor. If this information has been helpful, please hit the like button and leave a comment below. Tell me which fruit you're most excited to try, or share your own experience with prostate issues. Your comment might be exactly what another man needs to hear to take action. And please share this video with other men in your life, your friends, your brothers, your sons who are approaching middle age. Prostate problems are incredibly common, but most men suffer in silence. Let's change that. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the American Urologist channel, because I have much more life-changing information to share with you. Next week, I'll be discussing the 3 worst foods for prostate health that you probably eat every day, and how eliminating them can accelerate your healing. Finally, if you want to take your prostate health to the next level, I've created a comprehensive guide that includes meal plans, shopping lists, and advanced protocols for men dealing with more severe symptoms. You can find the link in the description below. Remember, gentlemen, your health is your wealth, and you have more control than you've been led to believe. Don't let anyone convince you that declining vitality is inevitable. Don't accept that prostate problems are just part of aging. You deserve to sleep through the night. You deserve to feel confident and comfortable. You deserve to enjoy your golden years without being chained to the nearest bathroom. The power to change your prostate health is literally in your hands, or should I say, on your plate. These 5 fruits have been changing lives in my practice for years, and they can change yours too. Thank you for trusting me with your health journey. I'll see you in the next video, and remember, your best years can still be ahead of you. Stay strong, stay healthy, and keep fighting for the life you deserve. This is Dr. James Whitaker, reminding you that nature has provided everything you need to heal. You just need to know where to look. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it.